Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in these weekly videos, I go over the astrological energies for the week ahead. And in this video, we will be going over the energy for January 20th to the 26th, 2025. I also want to just say hi because I'm back posting regularly. So thank you again so much for all of you who have kind of stuck by me. I've missed connecting with all of you, and I'm so happy to be back and provide this astrological and intuitive guidance for you all. So we are in some interesting energies, and I first just want to touch on the Venus conjunction to Saturn in Pisces. This conjunction was exact January 18th at 16 degrees of Pisces. Now we have Venus, the planet that rules relationships and love, money, finances, values, your self-love and self-worth, what you need, what you desire, and how you give that to others. In Pisces, where she is exalted, Venus is exalted in Pisces and loves being in Pisces, so this can be very romantic. It can be an energy where we tend to see things with rose-colored glasses. So it's really interesting having Saturn here the last year or so, kind of toning that down a little bit. But we have Venus, the planet of love, meeting up with Saturn, the planet of discipline and restriction and responsibility and commitments. And so this is where Saturn can rip off the rose-colored glasses with certain experiences or situations that you're moving through. This is where Saturn can put a hold on something. This is where Saturn can show you, maybe where you're being too overly, idealistic or romanticizing situations a little bit too much. So it's a really interesting energy. And it can be difficult when it comes to, money and finances and relationships and self-love and values. And the thing is with this conjunction is this is really setting the tone for the next couple of months, because we are going to have Venus stationing retrograde March 1st and will remain retrograde until April 12th. Now, however, Venus is going to enter her pre-shadow period January 27th. And because when Venus retrogrades, she's going to connect with Saturn again, whatever is kind of brought up at this time, whatever events or situations or emotions are kind of surfacing now, we will be revisiting over the next few months. There's going to be a reflection and reassessment period, and then there's going to be a resolution period after Venus stations. So we definitely want to be paying attention to what is coming up for us in our own individual lives and collectively, because this is really going to give us an idea of major themes and topics we will be moving through over the next few months. Venus is not going to leave her post-shadow period until May 15th, meaning that we're in these energies until the middle of May. Another area of life this energy can be working with is boundaries, your personal boundaries and the boundaries that you have with others. Pisces is very much an energy that is boundaryless. We tend to give too much of ourselves away, or that just boundaries are very blurred in Pisces. And now we have the North Node in Pisces, which if you have not checked out my North and South Node video with the lunar nodes entering Virgo and Pisces, make sure you check that out. But having the North Node in Pisces now amps up all of that energy. So we have to really be careful at this time of any self-undoing behaviors or patterns, self-sabotaging, escapism, deceptiveness. These are all Pisces themes that are going to be amped up for the next 18 months. So we really want to have self-awareness so we can kind of realize those things about ourselves, but also in our environment and around us in the collective with other people. These are energies we have to be very cautious of and aware of, especially with the North Node in Pisces until July of 2026. Having that North Node there is, amping up all of those energies. So again, anything that kind of showed up for you over the weekend, make note of it, because you can be revisiting those themes, topics, events, energies, emotions, until the middle of May. Now, also coming into the week on Monday, we have the sun in Aquarius. So we start Aquarius season. Happy birthday to all my Aquarians out there. But we now have Pluto there. And we did have Pluto in Aquarius this time last year. However, this Aquarius and then Pluto entered Aquarius, so they did form a conjunction, but not exact, where on Tuesday the sun and Pluto are going to form a conjunction. So this is really kind of beginning almost like a brand new cycle with the sun and Pluto and these Aquarian energies. And so Aquarius rules energies like the collective, groups forming, coming together, friends and friendship network, all the associations and, things of that nature, but also kind of doing things differently. It's a little bit of a rebellious energy because it is ruled by Uranus, but the Aquarius energy is going to change the middle of the year when we have Uranus enter Gemini, which I'm going to post a video of Uranus entering Gemini because we will get a taste of what that will feel like. Uranus is going to move back into Taurus, but we have all of the outer planets actually shifting this year. So we really do kind of get a taste of what the next 5 to 10 years is going to feel like this year. And I'm going to post a video going over all of that energy because we have Uranus shifting signs, we have Neptune shifting signs, and we have Saturn shifting signs, and we already had Pluto. So we have like all of our outer planets that kind of rule collective energies and us as a whole shifting, which means that the world is going to change, one way or another. We're in for some massive changes collectively and individually. Having Pluto in Aquarius definitely changes the energies and dynamics up quite significantly because Pluto can rule things like power and control, obsessions, compulsions, transformation. It can be a very psychological and magnetic energy. So having Pluto in Aquarius is going to transform society over the next 20 years through this transit. In our own individual lives, having Pluto, and I have posted a Pluto in Aquarius video if you want to check that out. Maybe I'll link it here in the weekly forecast. But now as the planets transit through Aquarius, it changes the energies up a little bit. It makes the energy a lot more powerful, a lot more potent. So when we have the sun forming a conjunction to Pluto this week, we want to pay attention to, on Tuesday, exactly. We want to pay attention to kind of what is brought to the surface for us, how we are feeling. That's going to give us an idea kind of going forward, how this energy is showing up for us individually. The sun rules our life force energy, our individuality, kind of how we express ourselves. So this can have us really wanting to do things differently in our lives, think outside of the box in certain situations and certain areas. So we definitely want to pay attention to what this brings up for us. Also this week, we have Mars retrograde in Cancer forming a sextile to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so there can be a lot of internal emotional shakeup with this energy. We've kind of had this ongoing conversation with Uranus and Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus being in Taurus, which Taurus rules what we need to feel, safe, secure, what we need for stability in our lives. There's something changing with that. And whether it's emotionally or physically, in our foundational life, there is going to be a shakeup this week. However, this energy is emotional because Mars retrograde is in Cancer. Mars does not do the greatest in Cancer already. And then having Mars retrograde in Cancer, which is an energy we've probably all really been struggling with since the beginning of December, with Mars retrograde, because Mars rules our motivation, willpower, drive, assertiveness, and we are going to be in this energy for, a few more months. But having Mars retrograde in Cancer, this energy does become more internalized. And I feel like a lot of us are probably going through a lot of emotional stir up, and Uranus is going to shake things up in that area. And it's going to be so that we can become aware of it and move through. And I almost feel like there's something different coming in where maybe we approach emotions a little bit differently, or we process emotions a little bit differently, but there's definitely some changes. And this is also a lot of this kind of North Node, Pisces, South Node, Virgo energies as well. Through this transit, we're going to have a lot of emotional stir up. And it's really so that we can become aware of possibly how we hold on the need to control situations, or control the outcome in some way. And that can be that Virgo energy. And we're all going to, and I talk about this in the lunar nodes video that I posted, how we will all be kind of going through this in our own way and having to let go of that need to control the outcome and just learning to trust the universe, learning to trust, kind of throw our hands up in the air and just say, okay, I trust. And that is really when we can welcome, beautiful things to come in. And I feel like, approaching the end of the month, especially when we have that huge Pisces conjunction February 1st, which I go over in that video, but I'll also post more content on that. We have a huge Pisces conjunction, the end of January, beginning of February. And that is where I feel like we kind of get the beginning of whatever's activated with this Pisces North Node energy and whatever will be moving through the next 18 months. Where we're really just going to have to kind of learn to trust the universe and release and let go of that control, the needing to control the outcome. Sometimes we can do that out of fear, wanting to control the outcome because we're scared or fearful of, it's a form of like self-protection in a way. It's not necessarily like, oh, I want to be controlling and control everything. It's how we subconsciously protect our emotions and protect ourselves by trying to control the outcome. Now, I kind of got off topic a little bit, but with the Mars retrograde sextile to Uranus, there can be some shakeup around that. And having Mars retrograde in Cancer ruling, themes like home, family, what is private to us, kind of what we keep to ourselves, there can be a little bit of a shakeup there this week with this sextile. Now, also we have this week on Thursday, Mercury forming an opposition to Mars retrograde in Cancer, and Mercury will form a trine to Uranus retrograde. So there's a bit of an interesting conversation taking place there. And we'll also have the moon opposing Uranus. There can be, again, a bit of an emotional shakeup. Like what you need to feel safe, secure, that's kind of changing. There's not too many big transits happening this week other than, some lunar transits. And then of course, the Mars retrograde sextile to Uranus, the Sun conjunction of Pluto, and then Thursday we get that Mercury opposition to Mars retrograde. And so when we do have Mercury, the planet of communication, conversation, our mind, mindset, information, we do want to watch, how we're communicating. This can be where, especially having Mars retrograde in Cancer, there can be a lot of emotional outbursts. This is where there is a difficulty with expressing emotions, but it's where your mind and your emotional self is not aligning or expressing how you kind of want to. So we're going to have to be a little bit mindful there of how we're processing emotions, how we're delivering, how we're feeling, how we are expressing ourselves. Having Mercury in Capricorn definitely does help when it comes to kind of grounding our mind and thoughts. But still, with this opposition to Mars retrograde, it can bring in a bit of a stir up. Also, too, because there's a connection to Uranus retrograde in Taurus as well. So there can be a bit of a shakeup with emotions and values. And really, I feel like this energy is just emotional. But because of all the retrograde energy, with Mars and Uranus, I still feel like it's internal. It's like something you're processing inside. And it's kind of whatever you've already been going through. There could just be another trigger to that. Hopefully that makes sense. And then on Saturday, January 25th, we will have Venus at 22 degrees of Pisces forming a trine to Mars retrograde at 22 degrees of Cancer. So, and we also want to keep in mind that both Venus and Mars are forming still kind of that sextile to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. So there still is that Uranian energy, but with Venus forming a trine to Mars, again, these are water signs, so very emotional energy. There's a lot of emotional energy. And we also have Neptune and the North Node coming very close together. So, as we approach the end of January, emotions become heightened. Intuition can also become heightened too, but also the tendencies to escape and self-sabotage. We really want to be watching these energies because they're going to become more potent. We want to make sure that we are still, taking care of what we need to in order to move forward and to support our personal growth, however that looks like for you, because the energies to escape and to kind of self-sabotage are going to become heightened. But with the Venus forming a trine to Mars, there could be some support maybe from outside coming in for you. There can be something showing up around money, finances, your values, because it's again connecting to that Uranus. There could be some unexpected support around money, finances, or somebody coming in to kind of lend a helping hand in some way, maybe even to somebody that you didn't expect. Another thing I want to mention with this Mars retrograde energy in Cancer is that we can tend to become overprotective of the ones that we love, or even ourselves, with this energy, because Cancer is a very protective energy. It's that mothering kind of nurturing energy, but Cancer can have that tendency to become overprotective. So that's another energy that can really be heightened with this. But when we have Venus forming that trine, pay attention on Saturday on the 25th to what's showing up, because there can be some beautiful support or insight. Again, it's Pisces. You could have an intuitive download also on this day, or just some type of, I don't know if I would say like well, actually it could be an aha moment with Uranus. So yeah, you could have like an epiphany. For whatever you're kind of navigating at this time, something could just click. So pay attention to what is, showing up for you and coming in on Saturday the 25th with that beautiful trine. But again, it is emotional. It has to do with your emotions, and it's still along the lines of how we're processing everything, how we're processing emotions, and also our spiritual path, our spiritual journey. Are we doing what is in alignment? Because that's going to be a lot of this Pisces energy too. Pisces rules our higher purpose, our life journey, especially with the North Node here. There's going to be a lot of new energy coming in this area of life. So, we really want to be paying attention with these Pisces energies to what is showing up, now and the coming months. And when we're talking about Venus, again, there's that Venus retrograde too. So, there's those themes and topics that we'll be navigating as well. So yeah, we're just really in this time of like, kind of whatever's showing up for us now. There's going to be like a reassessment, a reevaluation, and a resolution, essentially, when Venus stations direct. But, Venus stationing retrograde in Aries and then moving back into Pisces, there's going to be a lot of changing personal needs and desires. There's going to be a lot of, changing identity, what you need on an individual level. That's that Venus Aries energy. And, Venus retrograde in Aries is going to have us all looking at ourselves very personally and, changing what we need, want, and desire in our life, whether that's with relationships or, job, career, how we love ourselves, what we need for self-care. All of those things are going to be up for review. So as we approach the end of the week, we start getting ready for the new moon in Aquarius, which will take place next week on the 29th. And we have Neptune, again, moving closer to that North Node energy. So, and again, I can't say this enough, energies around escapism, self-sabotage, self-undoing, over-idealizing situations. That energy is going to start amping up. especially once we get into next week. So thank you so much for joining me. I am so happy to be back connecting with all of you. I hope this helps you navigate the energies for the week ahead. I will be posting a forecast on the new moon in Aquarius, getting into the chart for Canada. I have to get caught up on all my Canadian news because I'm not even caught up. I don't know what the heck's going on. I know Trudeau's resigned, but I have to get caught up on my Canadian news. I'll be going over Canada's energy, so all my Canadians will have an update on that. And then I will be posting the all 12 rising signs as well with that new moon forecast. I also have monthly horoscopes coming out for all of you too. So I am back to my regular content, posting my weekly forecasts on Sunday, new moon and full moon videos, monthly horoscopes for all 12 rising signs, and much, much more. I will be posting a video on the Venus retrograde, also on the significant energies of 2025, like really getting into the shifts of Uranus entering Gemini, Neptune and Saturn entering Aries. I don't know if I'm going to put it all together or do it separately. If I do it separately, then I can kind of get into all 12 rising signs and how that is going to show up for all of you individually. So I might actually do both, where I do kind of like 2025 energies and then also get into the energies separately. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy to connect with all of you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and if you are new to my channel. And I will connect with you all in the next one.